Alright, so what I'm going to be installing right now is a Worx racing components. It's going to be a trim extension for Yamaha WaveRunners. It's suitable for all models with the RiDE system. So it has to have the RiDE system. There is a separate version on their website that is for I believe it's 2021 and up. So if you got a 2021 and up, that's what you will need. I have a 2018 FX SVHO Cruiser, and this is the part number for mine. It's going to be WR06021, and I think it's from 2014, 2017 and up, something like that. So look on their website. It's supposed to add an extra mile an hour or two to your top speed because it adjusts the trim to get you on plane better. So what you're probably going to need is 10 millimeters. You're going to need a T4 or a 4. That's what this one is, right? Yeah, this is a 4. It's going to be for this. That's a 10 for the nut. This is the extension itself. This comes in the packet. Okay, so first things first, what you're gonna have to do is drop your bucket. So on the side right here, there's an arm. There's a little spring-loaded clip that puts onto a ball pivot. I'm just gonna drop that off. Once that's dropped off, your bucket can lower. Now you might be tempted to go, oh, here's the trim right here. I could just undo this and be done with it and bolt it on here. Yeah, no. Trial and error. Yep, nope, that's not where it goes. Look at the instructions. Instructions are kind of hard because it's not hard. It's not very detailed, like a blowing up, giving you an overview of what you're looking at. So you kind of got to take it. If you follow this arm back, right behind this cover, this rubber cover, is the arm extension. Now I'm gonna warn you, my ski's been sitting outside since last season. There's a lot of spider webs in here right now. I sprayed some bug killer yesterday and hopefully everything is dead. Okay, so if you follow this arm back, the point is actually right here. So you're gonna have to take off this rubber piece. I'm gonna take off both sides just for ease. You will need a 10 millimeter socket and a 12 millimeter socket. There's a couple bolts that are 12, there's a couple bolts that are 10. The 12s are these recess ones. Everything else, this one, this one, this one, this one, and then there's one down here and one over here. Those are all 10s. Short little bolts. Okay, where those two go? Take my 10. Sorry. Okay, so when you take these off, pay attention, because they have a washer that has a collar on it that faces in. Then it has a flat washer and then a locking washer. So you need to make sure that all that has it when you go back in. Washer with a collar, flat washer, locking washer. And these are your 10s. The 12s only have a flat washer and a locking washer. I dropped a couple of them down there. Anyway, this could come back, and then what you're trying to get to is that right back there. And like I said, there's going to be some spider webs back here. Looks like Halloween. And it might even be wise if you could take this off. Actually, I don't think it will. Nope, because there's a bolt behind it. Okay, so that's going to be interesting. So same thing, just pop this off. This one slides this way. And then that is your trim adjust. And I'm probably going to have to come back and film later, but it's going to install right there onto that piece. Okay, you're looking at that arm right there, and it's going to come back. I'm just not going to be able to film and work around the camera as I'm trying to see. Alright, so I got that off. There is a nut on this side of it, so undo the nut first, because where it goes into is threaded. This part, I don't know if you could see it, the arm is threaded, so undo the nut, otherwise you're going to be trying to thread it through the bracket and the nut at the same time, which is going to create extra work for you. So come around with the socket with a small extension on it, undo the nut, and then loosen up this, and then once you loosen that up, then it's very easy to just back it out with your fingers. So now I'm just going to verify on the instructions real quick what side this is supposed to go on to, because this sets on, and I don't know if it sets on this way, but this is also threaded. So when you thread this in, that's also going to have threads, so you're gonna have to tighten this down and then put the nut on and then work them both down. Install this first, so then when you go back, then it's very easy to get this on. Let me just check the instructions real quick. Okay, how I'm going to install it is I'm going to install it on the bracket this way. That way the bolt protrudes on this side, or the nut for... Alright, my battery died. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to install the bracket this way with the pivot head, or the ball head, on this side. That way the screw or the nut sits flush into here, and then the nut protrudes on this side just like the original, so there's no chance anything can get hung up on this side. So that's how I'm going to install it. So I'll be right back and I'll show you the finished product. Alright, so this is what it looks like. I did put some blue Loctite on here on both sides, because there is no nuts or no washers or locking washers or a locking nut or anything. So I did put some Loctite on both the nut and the sleeve part, or the shaft of the bolt. So we'll go from there, and then we'll install it through here. I'm going to put some Loctite onto this as well, and again, this has to thread into that bracket, so when you put it on, you're gonna have to set it on and then thread this into the bracket so that way it sandwiches it, and then once it's done, then you put your nut on, put them together, and tighten them down even more. Okay, so this is what it looks like installed. So that's what it's going to look like. And all we have to do now is put this back up, and there is a space, so into the orientation on this, same thing, just pop this down. Recess one. video on the internet that I could find, or on YouTube that I could find, that explains this, which is why I made it. But there you go. That is the